All right, we're live on Twitter and we are also live on YouTube. I got my internet connection fixed yesterday. We did have some lagging going on, but that should be fixed now. We are looking at a few different coins right now. We've been DLMing Poo, which has gotten absolutely destroyed because it's been doing so well. We just got the live token as well, which we're DLMing also. We closed out of a position and we're about to set up a new one. I'm actually going to do a two-sided pool on live. It just has a really good volume with the amount of attention that it has right now. And so we're going to set up this two-sided pool and see what kind of fees we can earn. Ooh, it failed. I need to redo it maybe. Yeah. And then we've also been DLMMing this Poo token. We've been holding it as well, but we've been DLMMing it and it's doing really, really good. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. So we got our live token up, which is good. You can see here, it looks like it is pushing up. It's in a very strong upward trend here. Welcome in, everybody. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Richard, thank you. If y'all have any questions along the way or curious about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, please let me know. So we're currently looking at the Poo token, which, as you can see, I was just drawing a chart down here and it's already exploded well above that. But you can see it's doing very well right now. We got in around the 700 or 800K market cap point there. We're also looking at live, and then we're DLMing a few others as well, like Bully. Our pool actually got destroyed. So I had 250 bin 2% pool, and it got absolutely destroyed, pushed out of it, did really, really well. So we're going to go ahead and withdraw and close this now. Go ahead and do that. We did collect some good poo fees here. We had also bought some poo on the side. And so we may actually DLMM it a little bit more. We'll take a look. But yeah, it's doing very, very well right now, pushing around the 2.5 or a little bit even below the 2.5. It keeps kind of dropping down right in between this range here. We're also looking at Bully. So this pool doesn't have as much volume, but this is just a little bit of one that's more consistent. You can see the chart looks absolutely beautiful and how well it's pushed up and continues to push up. So we set up a nice Bully pool. We'll take a look at how much we earned on this one as well using Metlex. Let me pull up Metlex so you can see how much I made on this this poo pool. We'll go back to our portfolio here. Can you share your screen? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sharing my screen. I apologize, guys. This was supposed to have been shared the whole time. All right, here we go. So I was describing the live token, which we're DLMMing. You can see that here. It's around the 21 million market cap. We're also DLMMing Poo right now, which went up to about 2.5 mil and is now taking a little bit of a dip, which is very good and healthy. And then we're also DLMing Bully, which you can see has a really beautiful chart here and is in it just showing a lot of consistent growth over the last few days. This is actually one that some people told me about when it was at like, I can't remember, like 5 mil, and I faded it, and now it's doing really well. So we're back in it and watching it. We're watching a few other coins as well, but I wanted to show y'all, I just DLM Poo, and I was going to show y'all some of the fees that we had earned on that. It was really, really good. Let's see if I can get that pulled up here. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. If you're just joining us, thank y'all so much. All right, so we're going to grab this transaction here. You can go on SoulScan to do that from your wallet. You go to P&L, and then you post it in here and click the little rocket ship. All right, we're already up to 62 viewers. Fantastic. Thank y'all so much. We actually are having a very surprising high volume day, which is really good. So you can see here I made 72% on this poo pool. 72% ROI in 15 minutes. crazy. All right, let's see here. So I'm going to post that in our Discord. I do that in the fee printers Discord under share wins. So we'll put that in there. I forget who called this earlier, but it was a very, very good call on Poo. We're still riding it right now. Right now, Poo is in a little bit of a dip. You can see here, but is holding fairly strong still. Looks like we're just waiting to see where it's going to hold and potentially break back out of. Live is also doing well right here. Let me show you on my live pool. So we have Bully Pool, which is earning a smaller amount, but it's doing pretty good. And then we have this live pool here, which is earning us like close to 80%. And that's with live kind of just sitting sideways right here. As it starts to move out of this range a little bit, I think we'll see it earning even more. But that's where it's at right now on live. So we're still watching that one. And then, yeah, E-Wade in the fee printer Discord. I think it might have been you that first shielded. I appreciate the call. We have a lot of really good people in that Discord calling stuff. So let's see, Bully. You can see that this pool shows an average of 12%. I think we're earning a little less than that right now, but still 8% a day is fantastic, especially on a coin that over the last few days has just continued to grow and looked really, really stable. So that's really good. Poo looks like it's starting to bounce back up, so that's good. I was thinking about making another pool. This is my 250 bin pool. And just doing a spot like this. And we ended up buying this around 800K, I think, 750, 800K. And now it's at, 2 mil. And so even if this ends up dropping below our range, that's okay. We'll just probably end up closing it out if it gets too low and just sell it. And we'll just take the profit for owning the token since we bought it very low. But the hope is that this thing's going to continue to push up, which I think it will. And we'll start to collect some more fees. It's doing a lot of ranging around where it is right now between this 2 and 2.5 mil. So I'm hoping it'll just push up just a little more and continue to range in here, and we'll just earn some really good fees. So you can see like this in the chart here. And so you can see it's it dipped all the way back down to like 1.6, 1.7 mil, but it peaked at 2.5 mil. And so my range is really going to cover anywhere between like 1 and 2 and 3 mil. Yeah, about 1 and 3 mil, maybe even a little bit wider than that. And so I'd love to see it continue to range in this area. This is a very low cap coin. And so it does have the potential to just decide, hey, I'm going to dump off because there's a lot of people who got in earlier that are going to be taking profits. And so that will be something that we want to watch. If it breaks too far below this 1.5, 1.6 million market cap line, then we'll probably look at just taking it out and selling it. But if it continues to kind of fight even just a little bit below this and up, then we're going to keep holding on to it. So live is still looking really good also. And then Bully. So those are the 3 coins that we're DLMing right now. Poo, Bully, and Live. And these are kind of 3 different ranges, right? So we have Poo here, which is, like I said, right around the 2 million market cap, highly volatile, pretty good volume right now. And so this is earning us the most. We then have Live next, which is around the 22 million market cap. It's fairly volatile right now, but not as volatile, still has really good volume. And so we're earning kind of a middle amount here. And then we have Bully, which is much more stable, not nearly as much volume, but because it's a larger market cap coin, I feel safer in it. And so we're doing this as well. And so this is kind of a mixed strategy that I'm doing here. And you can see I have the most money in Bully, and then I have the second most in Live, and then Poo, right? So that's the different levels that we're doing here. I also am DLMing my own coin Croak, which has been earning a decent amount, even though there's not a crazy amount of volume because the competition in the pool isn't there. And I have 2 two-sided pools that I have set up here. This one's actually at the end of its range because it did dip down a little bit, but Croak is a coin that if you're interested in, it's my coin that I created. It's sitting around the 500K market cap. We're continuing to push out content. So if you're interested in that, you can go check it out. Of course, always do your own research, not financial advice. Still watching Live, still watching Poo and Bully. If there's any other tokens that people are wanting me to take a look at, please let me know. Let's see here. So we have a few different questions. You planning on letting live sit for a while? Yeah, I'll be on this for a little while. I'll probably be on here for about an hour at the very least, but potentially a little bit longer. So, oh wait, are you talking about letting live sit? For, sorry, you're talking about the token. I'm going to let it sit as long as it makes sense to let it sit. So as long as it stays within this range right here, kind of 20, actually this line right here, kind of this 19, 18 and a half, 19 million market cap from here, or just anything higher than this, right? So if it stays in here, great. But if it breaks out, that's good as well. And we'll just hold it as long as it stays in range there. And then at some point, whenever it's in like a pretty high push, we'll end up closing it out and selling it. But the goal right now is just to earn as much fees as we can off of that. I think Fine is ready to rebound. 1.8 mil right now. Bought the dip, looking to open a pool higher. Really cool, man. Yeah, I mean, Fine is down a pretty heavy amount. And so for tokens that are down that much, I don't like to buy in and create a DLMM for it. They could be good for like flips, like you said, to buy in when they're on the low and waiting for them to rebound. But for me, when I'm creating a DLMM pool, I like them to work their way back up a decent amount and show that strength before I start to DLMM them. But yeah, best of luck to you on that. I think that might not be a bad idea. How often do you redeploy your fees back into your position? It really just depends. A lot of pools that I'm only opening for like for instance, the one we just did on Poo, this is literally 15 minutes, right? And so I had a little bit of leftover to be able to deploy into it, which actually I did a one-sided and it's dropped down a little bit. I'm gonna close out of this. And then if it pushes back up here, I'll recreate it. But if it looks like it's going to dip back down further, I'm just gonna end up selling this for profit. But the Poo coin was one that it's a low market cap coin. I'm in it kind of quick, right? So I'm not really trying to like get back into it. I'm just going to take my profit on it and move on. And so with a coin like this, I don't look at putting them back in. I just wait until it's time to close it out and I just close it out and sell. Same thing kind of for a token like Live or like a mid cap coin. I'm not necessarily looking to like roll those fees back in unless I'm able to hold it for like a whole day, in which at some point, once the fees add up, I just think once they're a significant amount, then I'll do it because it costs money to claim. So you want to make sure you have at least a little bit built up. And then on larger coins or like Sol USDC, like Bully or Sol USDC or something that I'm going to keep open a long time, I try to do it at least once a day, maybe even twice a day, just depending on how much fees I've collected. So yeah, that's the gist of it. So we're still watching Poo here. Poo has dipped down a little bit. We're going to set up to sell. We're not selling yet, but we're going to just get ready just in case we do see a big dip on it. Because you can see here, it's starting to break below that line that I said that if it goes too far below, kind of the 1.5 million market cap is what it's at now. So I'm wanting to see if it's going to kind of bounce back up off of this. You can see this is a very slight potential support range that it touched before. Again, this is a low market cap coin. It's very new. So these drawing lines and trying to read the chart is like pretty difficult to do. Yeah, let me do something real quick. Yeah, it does look like it's dropping below where we want. So we're going to go ahead and sell it and capitalize on the profits that we made from where we got in it. Yeah, it looks like it's dipping fairly hard. Poo could come back. Again, this is pretty normal for a low market cap coin like this to dip pretty low. It's looks like it's going to dip all the way down to 1 million or maybe even lower. We'll see if we're able to. I'm actually going to set my slippage at like 10% real quick and see if I can get this to go through. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it. I just need to close out of this, guys, and then I'll start showing y'all some more of what we're doing. Did it go through? Oh, no, it's still there. It does look like it's fighting back right now, so we might wait just a moment and see if it's gonna rebound at all. because it's bounced off the 1.4 right here. So it did dip just a little lower. You can see this resistance right here is, this support right here is, look where it's bouncing off of. So we're going to wait just a moment to see, because this actually may fight back up pretty well. So let's wait to see what happens there. Meanwhile, again, I don't need to come check on this bully chart that often, because it's just fairly stable, continuing to kind of sit sideways. Same thing with live, honestly. The volume on live has dipped down just a little bit, but the overall trend is fairly steady and sideways, which is just really good fees for us. So, but yeah, we're watching Poo start to fight back here. So we're going to continue to hold. It's actually fighting back fairly strong. Looks like with this trend, it could keep pushing even higher. So we'll continue to look at that. Let's see. Let's get some questions up. Hugo, what's up, token guy? How's it going, Hugo? Thanks for always being here, man. Really appreciate you. I usually run a process or possess on pool setup with entry being different to pool creation. I also buy the whole pool at entry and swap back up liquid to buy under. Yeah, that's a good plan. I like that run. When things are hot, can you go over your settings to ensure your trades go through slippage settings? Yeah, you can kind of see I was just doing that. But I put it on dynamic. And then normally I don't do 10%. Normally I do like 5% on the slippage. And then I do both on the broadcast mode. I do ultra on the speed, and I do a max cap, and I do 0.8, which is $2. So again, depending on how much money you have and what you're deploying, it's something I would definitely watch. We can see here Poo did push back up. So I'm glad that I held on this. It looks like it's actually doing really well here. It looks like it's about to, yeah, it's at the 2 mil mark, maybe even breaking above that. And so we could actually come back here and go ahead and create, well, let me refresh it. If it continues to push up, which it's got a really strong uptrend right now, it looks like it will, then we can continue to earn some more fees here. It's going to have a pullback at some point, so I kind of want to get in here. And again, if it starts to dip back down again too heavy, then we'll just close this out and get back in another time. It's actually moving up faster, faster than I can make the pool, because the way the slippage settings and stuff is set, I have to make it quickly. Otherwise, it'll mess with my pool. It won't give me the full range that I actually want here, but it looks like it's in a good spot for me to add to now. It's sitting right around that 2 mil range. There we go. Yeah, you can see some people started to sell off a little bit right there after the big pump back. Cool. So where can I learn about your strategies? Is there like a video to watch and learn? So Tolu, I stream 3 to 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday of every week, except for next week because of Thanksgiving. I'll be out of town. And then sometimes like today, if the market's hot or things are looking good or I have a little bit of time, then I'll stream on Friday as well. Graham, good. I am streaming my screen now. Can you not see it for some reason? And so you can learn about strategies by being here. You can also go to the Feed Printers Discord. We chat a lot in there. There's also questions and answer. There's an educational channel. You can go there as well. And you can access the Discord from Twitter. And so I can't remember if it has 2 O's. I'm going to post in here. It's Feed Printers like that. But you can go on Twitter and find it. It's either 1 or 2 O's on printers. And then you can access the Discord that way. Continuing to watch Poo here. It does look like it's sitting right around the 1.9 to 2 million range, right around there. And so that's right where we entered here. So I'm not sure we're going to see a lot of action on this unless it continues to push up. So again, we'll keep watching that. If it does look like it's going to dip too low again, then we might just end up withdrawing and getting out. But we're going to keep watching here. I'm actually going to close it either way. So I'm prepared to either sell it or I'm prepared to create a new pool a little bit lower. But it does look like it's dipping down a little bit again. This is what we're going to do. We're just going to get out of Poo. We're going to take the win here. We've done really, really well with Poo. No need to sit on any longer. We'll wait and watch it. And if it looks like it's going to continue to do well in the future, then we'll get back in. But we're just going to go ahead and try to sell out of it now. It does look like it's dipping back down. It's around the 1.5 mil mark. And I don't know why I've had so much trouble with Jupiter recently. It's just been really, really, really slow processing. And so I've been pulling up Radium. I've actually, if anybody has any ideas for some good bots to use, please let me know, trading bots, because I have been wanting to use one, especially with the amount of stuff that I'm doing on here. And so, did Jupiter go through? Because Radium's not even registering it to my wallet, so we'll see here. Yeah, I still got it right there. Yeah, it's not even registering. Transaction not confirmed. Okay, let's try that again. It looks like it's fighting back around the 1.7, 1.8 mil range. Again, we're just going to try to sell out of it here. See if we'll try to use both Radium and Jupiter, see if we can go through. Trojan, you can use it very fast. Okay. Oh, look, there's fee printers right there. Printers print. Perfect. You can click on the Twitter right there, and you can go get access to the Discord. We're now up to already 150 views. We've only been online for like 20 minutes, I think it is now, 21 minutes roughly. And so thank y'all so much for coming out watching. If you have any questions about what we're doing, you have questions about the market, about what's going on, please let me know. We'd love to chat, and I love to help people learn. That's why I'm here. Trojan, you can use it very fast. What kind of is it just Trojan JL, or is there some other like name to it? Can you like link it on or like tag it the Twitter for me so I can take a look at it? Let me see if I can find it. I've actually looked at potentially making my own trading bot, but we'll see. And then I won't even need somebody else's. All right, it does look like we finally sold all of it, either that or it's just not registering. Let's see. No, we did sell the poo. Perfect. All right. Sold the poo. It does look like it's starting to push back up now. This is one of those coins that like like tomorrow I'm going to see it and it's going to be like 50 mil. And I'm going to be like, man, I was trading that thing at 2 mil. I just couldn't hold on to it long enough, you know? But I do a lot of coins like this, and a lot of them end up doing well, but there's like most of the ones don't make it to 20, 30, 50 mil. A lot of them just end up dying off. And so it's a lot of times I look back in the same way that there's coins I see that are at like 50 mil the next day. There's also a bunch of coins I see that are at nothing the next day, right? And so it's hard to just say, oh yeah, I should have held. I try not to have FOMO about that kind of stuff. I try to just be consistent. I literally made 77%, right, on this poo pool earlier here. And I bought an extra thing of poo, like $700 worth. And then I ended up selling it for a little over a 2x on it as well. So I made a few $1,000s on poo in literally like 15 or 20 minutes. And so for me, if I just can keep doing that every single day, that'll build over time. I'm not really looking for the 10x, the 20x. I'm looking for consistent 30, 40% ROIs on my money each and every single day. And that compounds over time. And that's really, really important. It's trying to find something good that can compound over time. Like this bully right now is earning 5%. But like if you earn 5% a day for a year, your money would just like 1,000x, right? And so instead of trying to hit that 1,000x, you just be consistent with pools like this, or even doing some smaller pools like we're doing with Live and like we did with Poo, and continue to do that. Poo does look like it's about to break out and push back up, so it's a little bit sad on that in that regard. But I might actually buy some on the Vector app just to kind of play with just a little bit here. We'll see. My Crowcoin has a TikTok now as well. I need to get that. Let me see. I can't remember if I have it on Twitter. I need to put it on Twitter if I haven't. Yeah, it's not on there. But you can access it in the Telegram. And so we're doing a meme a day challenge until our coin hits 100 million market cap. And so I'm just going to keep posting memes every single day, kind of doing like a fun challenge thing like that. Hopefully it does well. So if you haven't, at least go check out the TikTok, even if you don't want to get the coin itself. I'd appreciate that. All right, Poo's pushing up pretty well here. Looks like it's going to be testing its all-time high soon. Just doing some trades on the Vector app. Let's see here. So we're still watching Poo there. Live is still just sitting sideways right now. I think at some point we'll see this decide that it wants to break out. We're actually on the 5-minute candle. Let me go to the 3-minute candle. It might show a little bit more action. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Bully's starting to dip down just a little bit after coming to an all-time high, which is pretty normal. But you can see after it's done that, it's taken dips multiple times, and then it's fought back up, which is really good for our DLMM. That's what we want to see. We're also going to be taking a look at a few other coins. We're looking at Cerebro here. Cerebro has under a mil volume, but it has also a very strong just upward trend. And so this might be one that I look to DLMM similar to Bully. You can see Bully has a little bit more volume, not much, and it's a much smaller market cap, like 3 times smaller than Cerebro, but it has more volume. And so that's why I chose to go with Bully over Cerebro. If you're looking at these two, this one's going to end up earning you just a little bit more with roughly the same stability. And then I was looking at this smaller one. This is Chill Fam, which I was looking at much, much lower, like around the 2 to 3 mil the other day. And we were DLMMing it. And it's actually moved up fairly well, which is surprising because it's like a runoff of Chill Guy. But, you know, every single time there's one big coin that kind of makes a new trend, we sometimes will see the like an altcoin. Sorry, my brain is blanking. But sometimes we have a main coin that does really well. You'll see an altcoin that ends up kind of following it, but it's just like, you know, 10x smaller or sometimes even smaller than that. And so sometimes that's what we see. And so that might be what that Chill Fam is. I saw this token as well. I'm not sure what this is. It's kind of going against the chill thing. I've seen a few of these, but like angry guy, angry, you know, this or that, or instead of chill, you'll see, I don't know, the opposite of chill, different things. I was curious to see what this token was at. Poo is still doing really well. It's pushing back up again. This is that angry guy coin. Let's go. This is the 5-minute chart. It looks really good. I'm going to look at the 1 minute. Again, don't just go buy this. I'm just taking a look at it. See here, it's around the 1 million market cap. I think there's actually like 2 of these. I'm not sure why one is different than the other, to be honest. I'm just watching it to see here. We'll watch it. We'll come back to it and see. It's at 1 million market cap now. Poo is doing really well. It's at 2.8 million now on the market cap. On my Vector app, I had bought back in a little bit, so I'm glad that I did because it's doing really well now. Poo's breaking out. Again, it broke above the all-time high here, showing that we're going to keep seeing some even stronger strength here. I might even wait for another dip or something like that to get back into Poo. We'll take a look and see where it's going to go from here. I'm going to redraw some of these lines. This is one that we got in. We had a guy in our Discord. So look, if you're looking to try to be a part of a community, be a part of a Discord where people are talking about new meme coins that are coming out, both to trade and to DLMM, check out Fee Printers. Our main focus is DLMMing, but obviously, like when these coins are called and people are looking at these, this is actually a green candle. I'm not sure why Bird Eye shows it as a red candle. But when people are looking at these, they, yeah, we have a lot of people talking about it. It's a great community. You can learn how to DLMM, find new coins and things like this. This was called at 800, or actually it was called at like 300K, but I didn't see it until it was at like 750, 800K. And so I'm going to go ahead and refresh this. But you can see it's already over 3x from where it started. And so if you just would have gotten in at that point, you would be doing really, really well. We did start to DLMM it when it was at the kind of 800K, 1 million mark, all the way up until about the 2 million mark. So this has got a really strong progression. So even like these dips, they just keep getting eaten up. I'm going to go to the 1 minute chart here because it does look like it's dipping back down a little bit. But these dips just keep getting eaten up. And so I'm curious, like I might end up like buying into one of these dips here. So I'm going to wait. Whenever I buy into dips like this, it's much more difficult on an early coin like this that is, let's go to the 3 minutes. Sometimes I'll see better chart movement on the 3 minute. it's hard to know like when to buy in, right, on these dips. And so basically what I'm looking for is either for there to be like a small dip with like a lot of heavy buy action coming into it, meaning that it's about to break out of that dip, or I'll look for like just a really big dip that continues to dip. And then as soon as I see some stabilization out of it, and then I'll look to get back in as it pushes back up. So just watching it right now, it does look like it's dipping here. And so I'll watch to see. So like you can see here, there's a lot of buy action into this. And so as I'm seeing a lot of this buy action, when you see a candle that's got two wicks on either side, it's showing both a lot of buys and sells. And so what's interesting from here is basically what you do is you wait for this to close, and then you'll see a new candle start to form. And depending on whether that candle is pushing up more green or red will kind of determine what is probably going to happen next. And so we'll see here, we're on the 1 minute. And so you can see there lots of action into the red here, but then you start to see a green start to form. And so right now it's just kind of sitting around this range. So from here, I'm looking, is it going to continue to fight and then break up or break down? So that's what we're watching for right now. But right now, the progression of this has been a continual uptrend. And so I'd expect it to potentially keep going back up here. Did we? I don't think we actually bought back in. Let's see if we can here. I meant to buy it as it was dipping there, and I was just talking about the chart so much, I think I missed it. We'll see if it'll let us get in there. But yeah, it looks like based on this, so you see big red, small red, and then a big green here, that it looks like it's trying to break back out again. Let me, I haven't answered any of those questions in a while. Let's see. Live guy still streaming on Kick. Yeah, he's going strong, man. We're still DLMing it. It looks like it's dipped down a little bit, but we're looking to see if it's going to fight back or not there. This transaction is so slow. I really need it to get a bot that I can use to buy. Yeah, Radium is not really registering too well here. I don't think this is the right poo. It's not. Maybe it is. Let me use the ticker here. All right, this is the right one. All right, let's see if it'll let us buy it on Radium. I don't think we bought it yet. Jupiter's failed, so we're going to try to buy it on Radium here. Slippage didn't work, so we'll try it again. Looks like it's still sitting just above the 3 million market cap, kind of 3 to 3.4-ish. We might look at opening up a DLMM pool out of this if we can actually buy some. Let's see what we can do. I need a set. So on Jupiter, I have this all set up, but I haven't set this up super well on here. Do 5% slippage, and this should go through. Yeah, I'm not sure why I've had issues on Jupiter recently going through. Radium's been doing well as far as speed. There we go. I set the slippage to 5%, and then it went through. So let's go ahead and come back up here. I'm going to set up a one-sided poo pool if it doesn't break out too quickly here. See if we can get to it. Poo, we're going to do the 250, 2%. Those 100 and 125s are really, really tight. They're way too small. They're going to end up getting blown out really, really quickly if this thing pushes up. But obviously, you can earn more fees in the meantime. So something to look at there. So we're going to go ahead and open a poo pool one-sided because we're expecting it to keep going up based on the chart that we're looking at. And so as it moves up, we'll actually earn fees in both directions once it gets to a good point here. And so you can already see as soon as we got in, we started to start earning some fees there. So that's nice. Angry guy we had looked at, and it looks like it's roughly still around the same spot. So we're going to move off of that and keep watching. Live looks like it's dipping a little bit. If live dips below this mark here too strong, then we might just end up getting out of it on our pool. Or if it looks like it bounces off of one of these two ranges here, then we'll keep on DLMMing it. Bully's still doing well there. We get off Cerebro. Chill Fam has dipped down a little bit. So that's one we're continuing to watch. It did have a good push up here, but it's retraced, so we'll look for it to fight back. Casey's one that we were looking at, but Casey looks like it's dying pretty hardcore, so we're going to stop looking at that one. And then we also have Chill Guy, which has also dipped a decent amount. What is Solana doing? Let's see. Based on all this, it makes me think Solana's, yeah, okay, it's just sitting sideways. This is actually really good for meme coins here. Whenever Solana hits an all-time high or just like a local high, and then you see a lot of sideways action like this, that's actually a really good sign. Sideways action on Solana makes people feel like it's not moving up or down right now, and they feel more confident to invest their soul into other things that are going to push up, like meme coins. And so altcoins, meme coins, you'll see continue to do well in that regard. So we're seeing a lot of price action right around where I entered into this pool, which is going to be nice because it'll basically be pushing to the bottom of my range plus here. And as it does that, as it moves back and forth, we'll collect some more fees. So we'll check back on that in just a second. Let me answer some questions here. All right. So we have Talita asking questions from YouTube. What's your feelings on the Meteora airdrop? Do you have any guessing on when? So I honestly am more bullish on Meteora than any other airdrop I've ever been. Obviously, there's been some really big airdrops on Solana, like Jitto, as well as Jupiter airdrops were like really, really strong. The Tensor airdrops were also really, really big. And so obviously there's been some really good ones, but I honestly believe that the Meteora airdrop might be one of the biggest airdrops we've ever seen. Unless the Meteora team just ends up really fumbling it, but I don't think they are. I like the team. I like what they've done. I really think that they have good plans for the drop. And so Meteora being not just like Jupiter or Jitto or any of those other ones, honestly, it was farming, and it didn't take a lot of skill, right? Now, some people had better strategies on how to earn more on the airdrop, but as far as just like farming it out, there wasn't a ton of skill to say like that anybody could do it. It was just literally how much money do you have? How much money are you willing to run through these different platforms? Whereas with Meteora, you can earn a lot if you have a lot of money, but you're also going to lose a lot of money if you don't have skill. And so being that Meteora is a skill-based platform, unless you're, of course, just doing something like, Sol USDC or some really small things, which you'll earn less fees, which means you won't get as good of an airdrop. Because it's skill-based, I'm very confident that it's going to be a really good drop because not as many people are able to do it or do it well. And so if you're able to, no matter how much money you have, if you're able to do well with it, I think you're going to end up seeing a good airdrop compared to how much money you put in. If you can earn fees that are 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount of liquidity you actually have, then I think you'll end up doing really, really well. I do think that it's going to come out in Q1, somewhere between January and March would be my guess. But I do not know that for sure. So we did get in a good time on this pool. You can see it's moving around a lot. Let me see where it's at here. It takes a second to update when you get back into on the site. It's frozen maybe. Let's refresh it and see. It might not be moving enough at all, honestly. Let's see. It should have dipped down a little bit from where we entered at. It's about 30.5 mil right now, which is about where we entered. Have you tried BullX? It's really nice. I have not tried BullX, but I've had a lot of people talk about it, so I'm definitely going to be looking into it. Will Glass said, I tried to run Tough Guy this AM. How did it go, Will? Poo is ripping. Yes, it is. If you're running out of bins on Poo, you just close it out. If you think that it's going to do well and come back, then you can re-add up. But honestly, most of the time on a coin like this, I just end up getting out of it and selling out of it and taking the profit, if I'm being honest. It does look like Poo's dipping a little bit. Let's see here. You can see it looks like it's taking a little bit of a dip. We need to close out of our Poo pool, which we're waiting to happen. It did there. And then here, we're not selling it. We're just getting ready to sell it. I'm watching the chart. So you can see it's dipping down. I would like to see it fight back. Our pool also is one-sided. And so that's the bad side about doing a one-sided pool instead of doing a two-sided, is that as it dips back down, you're not really in a good range. And so I actually think what I'm going to do is, this is the strategy I'm going to do here. I'm going to set up a two-sided pool, but I'm only doing it with half of my Poo. And so I'm going to set it up as a two-sided pool. And then the other Poo that I have, I'm going to hold on to. And I'll either sell it if it looks like it's going to drop below how much I got it for, or I'll just hold on to it. And as Poo moves up, that way I have a little bit on the side for kind of like the moon bag, if you would. And I'm also able to DLMM and earn fees. So it's kind of a mixed strategy for kind of depending on your risk profile. It does look like it dipped down a good bit here, but we'll be looking for it to bounce off of this range right here, right around the 3 mil, and then start to fight back up or a little bit higher. So we'll look for it to bounce here and start to come back up, and then hopefully it'll break out into 2 new all-time highs. So we'll see what it looks like. But we do have our pool set up here. Live is doing good. You can see Live came down to this 19 mil market cap area and is starting to bounce back up. So that's a good sign. You can see Bully as well has just been sitting sideways, but it does look like it's more prepared to break out up than it is down. And so that's looking good for us as well. We're still watching Chill Fam to see if it's going to bounce and what it's doing. And then we're also watching Chill Guy, which has dipped down a lot, which could be a good opportunity to buy back in. It just kind of depends. You can see there's multiple times where Chill Guy in the previous year came way down before coming way back up, like 3 different times. And so this could be another one of those opportunities. So what I would look for is don't catch it while it's falling. Wait for it to finally bounce and then start to come back up. And that's where you want to get back in at. So that'll be something to watch. It does look like Poo is starting to push back up. So that's good. You'll be able to see that here. I'm starting to earn some fees again. So we'll leave that Poo open for now. Let's check out Live. It comes with my ref, but that's the right link. No, that was a while ago. Can you run a check PL on Metlex? Oh, you're talking about a P&L, profit and loss? So yeah, so basically all you do is you would go to your Phantom wallet and you would open up your transactions. You would click on the transaction. It would open up a Soul Scan link. You need to make sure you click on the one that's either an add or remove from the pool. It needs to be one of those. And so you would come here, see how it says remove liquidity. You would then sign this, which this pool was open like for a very short amount of time, so I wouldn't actually check on it. But you would just click this, you'd click the rocket ship, and then you'd come down here and it would show you how much you've earned. So you just click P&L on metlex.io. And then you enter in the transaction here and hit the rocket ship. That's pretty much it. Chill Guy just absolutely slid. I'm curious if you think it's a good buy. Seems like there's support. Yeah, so I just went over that. I know sometimes I'm reading these behind, so I would look for it to bounce here. We're actually on the 5-minute chart. Let's go to the 3-minute. It may actually have already started to bounce. There's a support line here, kind of right where it's at right now, and there's one a little bit lower. So I'm not sure which one it would bounce off of. There's one here, which is the one it's kind of on right now. And then Chill Guy has another one like down here-ish. This is rough because a lot of these were like pretty spiky, so it's hard to know exactly where, but right around this area. So we'll see it either bounce here or here. If it bounces off of this is like a really good buy from where it was, but I'd be very surprised if it went that low. It could. I would look for it to maybe bounce off of this line, so we'll see. Looks like Poo's dipping a little bit. So this is actually really good for DLMM. If you're ranging right here, I think we found like a pretty good mid-range for Poo. And so it's we got in right around here on our pool. And so this is a really good range. So basically it's going between like almost all the way up to 4 mil market cap, all the way down to like 2.6, 2.7 million market cap. And so if it just continues to range here, that's going to be really good. We will look for it to break out. If it breaks down below this kind of 2.5 mil range, then that would be not great because it could go even further. But we'll keep watching that as well. Maybe Trojan is better for you. Bull, actually, you have to wait 24 hours after registering a withdrawal wallet. Yeah, that's not my favorite thing to have to wait that long. We can check out Trojan, though. Did somebody link the Trojan on the Twitter link? Do you think Lester would bounce back? Honestly, haven't looked at Lester in a little while. Let's take a look. We're up to 244 views on here between YouTube and Twitter. Thank y'all so much for watching and being here. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be probably live streaming just a little bit longer, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what the market's doing. Obviously, if it stays hot, then we'll keep doing it, but we just want to keep watching it and see. Let's take a look at Lester. Lester was one that I had for a while, earned a lot of good fees on Lester, but ended up getting out after it dipped. Same thing for Fred. Completely got out of Fred at some point because it just kept dipping, and I was like not willing to sit and wait any longer. And so Lester's all the way down to 21 mil. So it's dipped a lot. I have no idea whether like Lester and Fred, specifically Lester here, is going to continue to like if it's going to continue to go down or it's going to fight back. I would look for it to stabilize, hopefully around these levels, and then start to fight back. But it would need to fight back pretty hard. I mean, I need to see it come above these previous highs up here around the 28 mil, like close to the 29 mil market cap before I'd be confident of getting back in. And it would need to show some constant uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. So right now, no, but we could keep watching it over time. So Poo is dipping down close to that 3 million market cap point, which is honestly really great for our pool. I wanted to look at live as well. See, it took a really nice bounce off of this and is fighting back up. And if you look at our live pool, we're still earning 40% fees, which is really nice. And so as it pushes back up to the top end of our range, we'll look to close it out depending on how well it's doing. Yeah, Poo's just sitting around the 3 to 3.2 million market cap point, which again, we can go to that pool now and it should be doing really well. We found a good middle range for it. It's earning 250% on the fees, which is really nice. And then we also are continuing to just DLMM bully as well, which looks like it's kind of testing to see if it's going to break out again. We'd be happy and fine if it did come all the way back down to this range here. It can range as much as it wants in here. We'll just earn lots of fees along the way. And we're still watching Chill Fam to see if it breaks off of this, which it looks like it might break off of here and come back up, as well as Chill Guy. Again, it's too soon to know, but it does look like it's trying to fight right around this support here. So we'll keep watching that. Let's go to our Poo pool. Yeah, so we got Bully. I have Croak as well, which is my token, Live, and Poo. Again, above 200%, so keep watching that. Let's see. Are your lines based on the bin range or just support? It's just support. I like to set my bin range based on not like directly based on the supports, but based on what I'm looking at, getting a general idea. And so like my Poo pool could probably go all the way down to like 2 million, like around this range. And it can also go the same distance on the upside all the way to like 4.5, 5 million. And so it could go either way. So these lines that I draw though are not based on that. They're just based on the supports and the resistances. And so like I don't draw the trend lines, especially on like newer tokens, but I don't need to draw them because I just see them in my head. But like this is clearly, right? This is clearly trending upward. Ooh. And so a lot of people, you'll see charts that look like this, or they'll draw triangles and they'll talk about flags, reverse flags, you know, all that kind of stuff. I don't often draw these just because there's no need for me to do that. I don't get into all the complexities of different charts. I think you can actually end up like messing yourself over thinking that you understand a chart so well that you can predict exactly what it's going to do. And so I just say, hey, I don't know exactly what it's going to do, but I'm going to wait for the chart to do one thing. And then once it does that, I know the likelihood of it doing something else. And then I'll follow those trends based on that. And so that's what I've just continually done, is just watch that. And so I just draw these out. And then, yeah, that's the main thing that I try to keep chart reading simple. At the end of the day, DLMMing is what I want to do. But yeah. So we're still watching all of those. Poo's the one that I really want to watch to see. It's been ranging right around. It's created multiple supports now around this 3 million mark, which is really good. Again, I would watch it go as low as the like 2.8 million mark here. Right there, which was that previous one. That's the lowest I'd let it go before I'd want to get out of it again. What is the realistic percentage daily if you devote 2 hours a day? So Leon, the hard part about that, answering that consistently, is that it depends on when you do the 2 hours. And so like I'm on this most of the day, most days of the week for like 6 to 8 hours. And so for me, a lot of the time is really not necessarily doing, earning a ton. There's times where I'll wait an hour or two before I actually even find a really good coin. And so what I would say is I would, depending on how flexible you are with your hours, you could always just kind of sit and wait and watch, just checking in every now and then each day, and then wait to kind of see some good ones that are running, and then say, okay, now I'm going to spend an hour or two just devoted to doing this. If you have that flexibility, that'd be the best way to do it. And you could depending on how much capital you have and what you're looking to do, you could earn 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes even 30 or 40% ROI, sometimes higher, just depending. Within just a 30-minute or a 1 hour period. So 2 hours is really good. I mean, I do this live stream This one will be closer to an hour and a half. But I do live streams that are, that are 2 hours long in DLMM. And that's like the majority of that live stream. So you can kind of see how much I earn in that amount of time. It does look like Poo's dipping down a little bit. So we're just watching here to see, do we want to withdraw it or do we want to... It does look like it's bouncing pretty well off of that. So we're not going to withdraw it yet. It's dipping down to right around that area where I was talking about, right around the 2.8, 2.9 mil. So we're just getting ready to see if it does drop below this and kind of closes out a candle, then we'll go ahead and withdraw and get out of it. If it does not do that, then we will we'll keep DLMMing it. It's right around the 2.8 mil right now, though. You can see right around this line here. And it's going to move up and down. When I talk about closing, I don't mean the wick. I mean the actual like candle itself. We're looking for it to confidently close below it. And really, yeah, right around here. And so we'll see where it closes out here. And so if you see a candle like this push down and then it closes, then that's a sign it's going to keep going, depending on what this second candle does. And so sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually watch this second candle. And if it looks like there's a lot of fight back, which is what it's doing right now, then I'll just wait and see, right? And as soon as we start to see this turn into another red candle here, I'll say, okay, I'm done and close out. But if it looks like there's a lot of fight back, these lines, like I said, are not perfect because this line is like an exact price. But these support ranges should actually be like, I usually give them like a 1 to 2% kind of like flexibility on them. And so I like to wait. I don't like to rush and say, okay, but like this is a very small range, right? This is the difference between 2.7 and like 2.74, right? I mean, this is not a huge difference. And so it's good to watch those because a lot of times they'll come below the line that you drew, but then you'll see a lot of fight back. So we're going to continue to hold this right now and wait to see what it does. Fees are actually above 370% now, which is really, really good on that. Which pools are you in right now? Will, I am in Poo, which is the one you just saw, POU. The reason we're in that one is because the chart looks good, but also it's really popular on TikTok. And then we are in Live. I'm also in my own coin, Croak. And then we're in Bully Soul. And so Live is one that's doing very well. It's been ranging between this, which is really nice, between kind of 19 mil and 24 mil market cap. You also have Bully, which has been doing really well, just ranging nicely. This is lower fees, but still really, really, really good. And then Live, and then Poo as well. So we're watching. It does look like it's breaking back up here, which is really good. I don't expect it to just rip back up unless we see a lot more like pretty strong action here. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh this because we're getting some gaps in the candles. But I wouldn't be surprised if it came up and then came back down and tested another one of these lines before coming back up. 250 Poo 2 says 14.42 DVD. What is printing hard? Can you explain this to us? Yeah, Will. So you're saying he's basically saying that it's showing 14.42%. The thing is that this coin hasn't even been open more than a few hours. So you can see the Poo coin launched right here at 11:45 this morning. And so my time at least, but you can see from 11:45 to here, 13:55. So it's only been 2 hours. And so it's actually much that it's only earned 14.4% in the 2 hours that it's been open. But you can imagine over 24 hours, it would be 12 times more than that, which is why whenever you look at my Poo pool, you can see this actually will continue to climb slowly because my pool is actually earning over 300%, closer to 350%. And so, yeah, it's just showing the average over the last 24 hours. So on newer coins, these don't always show accurately. And so that's just something over time that you'll kind of have to learn. On newer coins, this isn't always accurate. It's actually earning way more right now than what it says. Yeah. All right. This is a 5-minute candle. Let's go back to the 1-minute candle. It's a newer coin. Use 1-minute candle. Only use 1-minute candles on newer coins or just on meme coins that are more volatile that I need a little bit more to understand. So you can see here on Bully, I'm using a 5-minute chart. And on live, I'm using a 3-minute chart, right? So it just kind of depends on how volatile the coin is, how new it is, and what the market cap is, right? And so on Poo, we're using the 1-minute candle because it's much more volatile and we need to see a little bit more accurate what it's doing. It did look like it came back up here and fought, and it looks like it's coming back down. So we'll want to see it test off of this line again, or even a little bit higher before breaking back up. Again, the 2.8 million market cap kind of range, 2.6, even down to like 2.5. This came all the way down to like 2.6 is where we look for it to bounce back off of before coming back up. If it does break below that, then we'll just go ahead and close out the pool. And if we need to take a small loss on it, we will. Hopefully the fees offset that. But that's why we're using a smaller amount on a low cap like this to be able to reduce the risk as good as possible. Bird Eye seems pretty slow on Deck Screener. You see the green candles already. I can show you Deck Screener as well. They're roughly the same speed. Both Bird Eye and Deck Screener are like 30 seconds behind what's actually happening on chain. Yeah, well, no problem, man. You just have to be careful with coins that are lower market cap. But also, yeah, it's good to know that, yeah, the lower percentage may not be what you're actually seeing. Now, if the coin's been out for 24 hours, then you would know it's a little bit more accurate. So the thing about Deck Screener is that you don't get to see the coin as a whole. It's based on the pools, right? So you can see there's 250K in Radium. And so this is the one that I'll use. But you can see there's other money in this as well. And it won't actually be showing any of the money going through these pools, including the pool that we're actually in, this one. It won't actually show that. And so on Bird Eye, it'll show all of it. But on Deck Screener, it doesn't quite do that. So we are watching Poo come down here. We'll look for it to break off and come back up. Look, it's roughly the same here, 2.8. And if you come to Bird Eye, it's roughly the same. If I refresh this and then let it go, it might be a little bit better. Deck Screener might be like a few seconds in front of it. But look, I mean, it looks roughly the same. You can see 2.7, 2.6. Actually, Bird Eye maybe even have been slightly ahead of Deck Screener. Let's see. Oops. What just happened? So I'm going to pull these up side by side for you so you can see what I'm talking about. Oh, while I'm doing this, Poo's dropping below the range that I want it to be in. So we're going to go ahead and withdraw it and close it out. But I'll show you what I mean. It's actually testing it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out though here. We've been buying Poo and it's been on the lower end of my range. And so if it does end up bouncing back up, we'll just end up selling for higher than what we bought some of it for. So we'll get some of the profit back that we lost from it dipping. So we'll wait and see what it does. But let me show these again for you so you can see. Oh, this is 3 minutes. Sorry, let me move to the 1 minute chart. Look, these are the same. You can see both of them are at the 259 area. See, this one just pushed up. Let's see when this one pushes up. Maybe it's a little bit behind. This one's actually not moving at all. This one's frozen. So I have like 5 bird eyes open, so I think that's probably why. Another thing to think about, though, is that, again, this one is only showing what's happening on the pool that it's in, whereas Bird Eye is showing what's happening across all the pools. It's all of them. And so as we're watching this, Bird Eye is actually more accurate of what the real price is than Deck Screener is. Not necessarily, but I'm just saying, like, you can understand how there could be a slight difference in them because of how they're running through. Thanks for explaining that. But I have a bunch of croak. What's the best way to deal with it to lower my cost basis? It's up to you. You can either do a one-sided or a two-sided. I'm on a two-sided on croak. But yeah, you would just set it up with however much croak you want, either all of it, or you could use partial amount of it. Set up like a two-sided pull, and as it's moving up and down, you'll earn fees, just kind of how I showed you here. Could you please put in a horizontal line showing your entry level? I'm still trying to understand the entry and exit plan. Yeah, I can explain that a little bit better, my entry and exit plan. We're seeing it still kind of bounce around right here. I think I'm going to go ahead and sell out of poo. It looks like it's dipping a little lower than I want. And so we'll go ahead and close it and be done with poo. See if we can get it to go through. All right, swap confirm, we're out. So poo is really good. Again, it looks like it's dipping. It could come back up, but I think my tolerance level on watching it and letting it kind of come up and down is enough. I don't want to keep watching it and keep worrying about whether it's going to come up or down or not on a low market cap coin like this. But you can see both Deck Screener and Bird Eye are good. Some of them are a little behind than the other, but they're fairly close if you look at the charts on them. This is actually on the 1 minute. Let me swap it back. I mean the 3 minute. Let me swap it back to 1 minute. Yeah, so look, Bird Eye had already dipped down here to 22, and then this one just did that. It just dipped down to 22. Obviously, the prices are a little different. This one's showing it coming up here, which I guess Bird Eye might have already done. Yeah, so I'm not sure. Deck Screener might be a little more accurate, might be a little bit faster. I just like the UI of Bird Eye better, and so that's why I've used it. I also have an app on my phone right here, which gives me the most accurate information that I can just look at on the price itself, not necessarily the charting, because it's on my phone. It's a little bit smaller, and so I'll use that also. So I'm going to go ahead and move off of poo. Again, we made some good money on it. I do want to explain. I want to help Gavin Jeffries here. He'd asked about the horizontal lines and things like that. I could draw a line on entry, but I just know where my entries are at. I can also just look at like my DLMM pools and see where they're at based on where I entered the pool at. And so where I enter on the DLMM pool, it's usually center of the line. And so for instance, on live, it should be a little bit below. Yeah. So like where I entered is roughly right here. And so you can see my entry we're a little bit lower than where I entered at. But that's okay because we're earning fees along the way. And so we're confident, or we feel like live will continue to come back up at some point here. And then we'll end up closing it out when it's actually on the high side of our pool. And so as far as my entry and exit plan, I don't have an exact entry and exit. I could exit now and be roughly break even because of the fees I've earned, or I could wait. If it ends up dipping too low, I don't base whether I get out on this. I base it on the support lines here and the resistance lines. So this coming down here would roughly put my pool, the line would be roughly here if it ended up dipping below this line. And so what I'm looking for is if it bounces off of this and comes back up, I'll keep DLMing it. If it comes below this and breaks down, then I'll wait just a moment. And if it looks like it's going to keep going lower, I'll go ahead and close out. I'll take a small loss. Again, that loss will be offset by the fees that I've earned. And I'll just move on. And that's okay. You're not always going to win. And so you need to mitigate those losses as best as possible. And that's what I'll look for. If it comes back up, what I'll look for is if it ends up coming back up here, I'll watch for it to test its local highs here. And if it looks like it tests them and it's going to break back down, then I'll go ahead and sell because it's at the top end of my range. It's going to be breaking back down. We've collected a lot of fees and I'm on the high end of my range. And so I want to sell. Or if it looks like it's going to break out above, I'll keep holding. And then once it starts to break out again and it looks like it's finally reaching a new resistance, then I'll sell there. And so that's kind of how I determine whether I'm going to get in or out or not. And I usually set up my ranges. This is a 200 bin pool, 2%. And so I set up my range to really be able to handle a lot of that volatility when I'm looking at this. Like my pool will easily range between this. It'd even go like a decent amount below and above this as well before it would get out of my Meteora pool range, if that makes sense. So we'll keep watching that and see what it does from there. Let's look at Bully, for instance. we got into bully and we got in near the top of where it is now, right? But we have a 200 bin, 2% on bully. But bully is a 160 million market cap coin. And so because of that, it's a 200 bin just like live, but you can see it dipped down a decent amount here. And you can see on my bully pool, it's like barely below center. And so this gives me a lot more range to work with and feel more comfortable while I'm still earning anywhere between, like 5 to 12% on bully a day, which is really, really, really good. And so I'm going to just keep DLMing this. You can see there's a really good chart on bully. It's taken dips before and then it's fought back and it continues to move up and up and up. And so I'm good with it coming down and back up. I'm just earning fees along the way. You use GM Goodnight for all my DLMM trading. Can you tell me more about what that is? Say I buy SOL for 200 and it falls and I've got just SOL and a SOL USDC pool. Do I wait for SOL to get up to sell for USDC if I don't have more USDC to get it back into the pool? Yeah, you could do that. So like, let's say I buy in and then you set up the pool, but it goes down too low. Well, now you earn more. You own more Solana than you did before because you've been buying SOL as it dropped. And then you can close out the pool. But if you don't have a lot of USDC because of the SOL, then yeah, you just wait for Solana to come back up. If you can't buy more USDC, you'll wait for Solana to come back up and then you'll sell Solana. You'll make money because you've been buying it on the way down. You held, and now all that Solana you bought on the way down is now worth more than when you bought it. So you can then sell half of that Solana for USDC, and then you can create a new pool and do it that way and continue to adjust it as needed. That's a great question, IB. Casey is dropping. Yeah, we were out of Casey a while ago, Hector. Which criteria do you look to get off of a pool? Price, volume, news? Yeah, all the above. I mean, obviously, if there's like some bad news about a token and it's going to dump, then I'll get off of it. I'll also look at volume. So like, for instance, live token, the volume's dipped down just a little bit. So we'll keep watching this and be hesitant of this. It also looks like the chart might start to create a downtrend here. If we see volume pick back up and it pings off of this, then we'll keep DLMMing it. But if it does look like it's going to drop, then we'll just go ahead and get out. And so those are some of the things that I look at. I look at both the price, the volume, and news that determines how well it's going to do, because we want a token to range. That's how we earn DLMM fees. Ideally, a token would stay within our range forever, but usually it doesn't. Usually it decides to go below or above that range. And so we have to determine which one it's going to do based on our charts. And if it's going to go below, then you close it out. You minimize your losses because usually once it dips below a certain support line, like the one we're looking at here on live, you can see there's not much support all the way down to here. And this is all the way back to back all the way to 12 million market cap. And it's at around 20 right now. So that's a pretty big loss. So as soon as you would see it break below this support here, again, there's kind of two lines here. It's kind of in the middle actually, but somewhere below this, then that would signify that it's probably going to keep falling further. It could hit this. This is like technically a support. It's pretty small, but that's what I would look for. And then vice versa, if it starts to break above the all-time high here, one of these previous ones, then I would look for it to continue to go higher. Because at that point, this was a previous resistance. And so if it breaks above that, that's a good sign that it could go higher. It could go a little higher before breaking back down, or it could go a lot higher. And I'd wait for it to hit the top of that, start to show some resistance, and then sell there. Yeah. Will be met big. I think it will be. Yeah, I answered that earlier. I do think that the Meteora airdrop will be really big because it's skill-based. Obviously, having more money allows you to get more fees. But for how much money you have, if you're able to do well with it and earn a lot of fees off of that, then obviously that's going to help you with the Met airdrop in the long run. I just realized that this live token is paused out. Let's pull up Dex Screener. Dex Screener did seem to be working well the other day. There's times when I've gotten on Dex Screener and it is doing the same thing or even worse as far as movement compared to Bird Eye. But other days like today, it does seem like Dex Screener was looking a little bit better. So let's look at this. It's actually dipped down even lower. It's at 18 mil. Let's take a look at our pool because we may actually be closing it out here. Looks like it might be in a look. Yeah, so this is the line I was talking about. You can see here I refreshed on Bird Eye. So this is the line here. Again, it's not an exact line, but it is a roughly this. So we'll see if it's kind of this range right here. It looks like it's breaking below it, But again, I'll usually give it a little leeway to see what it does after that. Let me let me go on my vector app made by Tensor, which is really good. By the way, Poo is broken back up again. It's doing well. Let's go look at this live token and see. Yeah, so live went all the way back down to like 17 and a half, but it looks like it's trying to fight back. So what we're going to do here is we're going to close out of the pool. It's earned good fees along the way. I've been earning about 40% on the 24-hour. But we don't want to keep sitting on it if it goes lower and lower, because then we'll end up taking a bigger loss. Whereas right now, this is not much of a loss. It's below where we got in at, but we've earned a little bit of fees, which offsets that sum. Overall, we will be in a loss, but not a huge amount if we need to close out here. But we're waiting to see, because it does look like it's trying to resist a little bit, or trying to hit a support just a little bit. Let's get the token address here. Again, normally I don't use Radium, but Jupiter's been kind of weird for me. And you can see on my vector app here, it's bouncing off the bottom there. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen. Looks like it's trying to fight back off that support. And so if it doesn't and it starts to drop, then we will we'll just go ahead and sell and get out with a small loss. And if it continues to fight back, then we'll hold. Because you see with our DLMM pool, the whole time it was two-sided. And so when it's dropping, our Solana is buying up more live. And so we bought live all the way down to here, in which we closed out the pool. And so now all the live below where it is currently is worth more than what we bought it for. So if this starts coming back up to here, all of this that we bought on the way down is now worth more. So we'll actually end up making back, or even being in profit on top of what we did with our DLMM pool. And it does look like it's trying to fight back, so we'll keep watching that. Can you look at MCGA Discord play? I'm not sure what MCGA Discord play is. I can try to look at a token called MCGA if that's what you're interested in. Yeah, Pooh's back up again. Pooh's riding. Yeah, I know it's doing well. I have another question. You seem to look at chart versus USC, but pool is set up versus Sol. Are your resistance and supports the same? Yeah, I like the way you worded that, Rico. So I like to look at the USDC. Let's see this. I'm just looking at this pool here. I like to look at the USDC value, because it's a consistent value. Whereas if you look at the one that's Solana, Solana could be moving with the price of the token. And so you could think that the token is actually doing better or worse than it actually is. And so if I do it based on USD, then it just tells me straight up the value of the token based on USD. And I know that it's not being manipulated by the price of Sol as well. Now, obviously, my pool is based on the pair of it and Solana. But I'm more looking at the chart to determine the health of the token and what it's doing. And usually it ends up coinciding fairly well with my DLMM pool. So that's why I do it that way. I know sometimes that confuses people, but it makes me feel a lot better. Radium always has better prices. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that another time. You're not sharing Radium on screen? I mean, it's right here. Can you not see this? MCGA was a call on the Fee Printers Discord. Okay, sweet. It's up to 500K right now. So on stuff like this, again, I'm not this isn't something that like we would DLMMM, but it'd be something we would watch to potentially be DLMM. And it's something that we would I assume this is the right token. You just told me the name. There's actually multiple MCGAs, and so this would be one that maybe I would buy and then look for it to move up and then DLMMM later if I liked it. I don't really know a lot about this right now, so the top 10 holders do own 30%, which isn't great. If this is the one you're talking about, there could be multiple. If you post the CA, I'll actually be able to look at it a little bit more accurate, though. Let's take a look at this live token. So your exit is based on your support and resistance lines and not the extreme pool ranges, i.e. you like to exit when price is above entry level. Correct. Yes, exactly. Do you use Fee Printers Discord DLMM bot to help you decide on new coins to enter? Sam, great question. I use the Discover channel as well as the DLMM Opbot, as well as just seeing what people are posting as well. So I kind of I'll also look on Twitter. I follow people on Telegram. So there's all sorts of different places that I look to determine whether it's good or not a coin, and to be able to see what coins are coming. Great questions, though. Great questions. We are up to 24 people on YouTube. That's the most I've ever had on YouTube. Thank y'all so much for watching on there, and 292 on Twitter total. So thank y'all so much for being here watching. Hopefully y'all find this helpful as we're looking at these different charts together. It does look like live is starting to bounce back. If you remember, here, let me just come over to here. If you remember, we closed out our pull down here and had bought up live on the way down because we had a two-sided pull. So our SOL was buying it up. So as it's pushing up here, we're actually the live that we had bought down here is actually going up in value. And so if we see this start to break down again here, it's okay if it does it a little bit. But if we see it start to move too much, we'll just come over to here and just sell and get out and be happy with where we're at. But if it does look like it's going to break back up, then we'll keep holding there. So MCGA is one that was called earlier. Can y'all confirm that this is the this MCGA is the one that y'all are talking about that was called? I'll keep taking a look at it. This is a low market cap coin, so very, very risky here. It also is has a very high top 10 holder count, which means it could be bundled, which means that people could end up just rugging it. So something to look out for there. Can someone give me the CA though, so I could properly check it? Humendra, I actually can't click on your CA right there because I'm in a it's called StreamYard Studio. I'm not directly on YouTube, and so I can't copy that. If somebody sees it and can copy it and post it on my Twitter, then that would be great. Are there any rewards for creating a new pool, or is it just the cost of doing business? XR Priest is just the cost of doing business. So creating a new pool doesn't benefit me at all, whether other people join it, whether they don't join it, whether I'm in it by myself. The only benefit to creating a new pool is if you just want a different range, right? So if you don't like this 202% on live, maybe you're like, I want a 250 bin 2%, but that doesn't exist. Then you can create one. It costs a few dollars to create it. And it's just beneficial in that you can use the range that you want instead of the ones that other people have set up, if that makes sense. Yeah, so live is bouncing around. I don't know why I keep doing this. Go here. There you go. It's bouncing around a little bit here. Again, if this candle closes out here or lower, we'll just go ahead and come over here and we'll just sell it. If it looks like it's going to break back up here, then we'll keep holding. So we'll see. We're watching it to see. I also have my Vector.fun app, which is in limited beta right now. When I do get keys for this, I will be giving it out to everybody. We'll maybe do some live streams and I can talk about it and we can, I'll give out some keys, but it's something that Tensor has built. Tensor is really good at just building high quality things that work really well. And so their charts and everything are really, really solid. And so I enjoy watching their charts as well on the side as being able to show you those. So it does look like it's breaking below where I want. So I'm gonna go ahead and sell. And we'll just get out with a small loss on live. I was hoping that it would break back up, but it doesn't look like it is. It looks like it's going to break back down. And at some point it could bounce and come back up, but this is just my kind of risk profile, my tolerance. And so I don't want to keep messing with it in that regard. We are watching MCGA come back up, so that's pretty cool. Let's come take a look at it. We'll see if it dips here. This is one that, like, when I'm looking at a coin like this, sometimes I'll just buy a little bit if someone's like shilled it and I think it's going to do well and I'm kind of looking at it, I'm like, maybe it'll do well. I'll go ahead and buy a little bit. And so this isn't one that I normally would look at to DLMM. It's called Coop, streaming in Coop to 100 mil, same as live. Okay, we'll take a look at it. So once it's pumped up here, I'll look for it to come back a little bit before maybe buying some. Again, this isn't one that I'm like super excited about, or I would say is like a confident play. This is just something that somebody posted. And so I'm interested because it does look like it's doing somewhat well, has good upward progression. I'd be interested to see about just adding a little bit, because obviously just adding a little bit would mean that if it goes up a lot from the 700-800K that it's at, then obviously you can make a lot on it. And so this would be something I would literally just buy like maybe a few SOL of and see where it goes from there. So see if we can get it to go through. And then if it does start to break back up, like it looks like it's going to go up to like 1 million or more, then we'll actually start to DLMM it after it's gone up in value a little bit. So we'll continue to watch that and see. We waited for it on this little dip here and bought, I think. Yep, went through. So we'll see what happens. We'll continue watching that. Are there any other coins that people want us to look at? Would you DLMM Poo here in this range? Potentially. Is Poo, it was going back up. I'm not sure where it is now. Kind of wish I would have held Poo through this whole thing, but if I'm being honest, normally when a meme coin dips down that low, it doesn't always come back up. And so there's so many Poos though. I think this is probably the most accurate one. I know you DLM mostly during the day, but do you know when volume is best to DLM? Both during the day and at night during American time. So anytime like in the morning, it usually does pretty well at my time. And then, yeah, this is actually a pretty good range to get back in. But what I would look for is it going to break back above this 3.3 million? So when I'm looking at a chart like this, what I want, even though like some people want to get the best entry possible, I want to get in when the chart's moving in a certain direction. We'll take a look at Chill Guy again. We have it up here. It is bouncing off that line, so it could be a good spot to get in. We'll come back to Chill Guy in just a minute. And so what I'm looking for when I get back into a coin, you can see here, the coin is in an upward trend, right? Meaning there were higher highs and higher lows. Even here where there was a lower high, and it ended up rebounding with higher high here. But you can see here that you then had higher lows and lower lows. So you can see this trend starting to come down and then bounced, and looks like it's going to break out of this trend by coming up higher than the previous high, and having a low higher than the previous low. But this next, depending on what the coin does here, will determine whether it's going to go back into a downtrend or back into an uptrend. And so what I'm looking for is for it to break above this high here. Because if it does, it's now showing multiple higher highs along with the multiple higher lows. If it doesn't, this is too short of a trend to determine, okay, it is back in an uptrend. It's too short of data, or too small a data pattern to be able to determine that. And so we want to see a little bit more data before we can feel confident in that. All right, let's see here. So we're just watching it to see what it's going to do. Again, Poo is only going through that one pool, and so it's hard to know. Let me take a look. Yeah, it's around the 3 million market cap here. So volume has slowed a little bit. So that's one thing that's interesting to watch on a coin like Poo here. We're also watching MCGA, which again is a lower market cap coin. We got in up here, so obviously it's not great that it's down here, but we'll watch to see, because it did that multiple times before bouncing. If it ends up coming way down here, again, we put a small amount in for us. And so if it comes down too low, we'll just end up selling out of it. But back over to Poo. The volume has lowered a little bit. You can see here is very high, and then it started to dip down. So what we're looking for here is for volume to pick back up a little bit, or at least stabilize. And then we'll look also again for what I explained earlier, for it to break above here. Obviously, it breaking above here means that your entry isn't as good as if like you buy now, but you also don't know what it's going to do. So I like to wait for there to actually be a trend to happen and then take advantage of that. Because once it's broken out of a downtrend and it's in an uptrend, and it shows that it's actually in that uptrend, usually it means it's going to continue in that way. It doesn't always mean that, but it does usually. And so that's what I look for to get into it. Xenomorph, I saw Free Printers Wallet had this DLMM. Let's look up Xenomorph. Yeah, I saw Xeno the other day. Just joined, so not sure if you took a look at it. Chill Guy. Yeah, we'll look back at Chill Guy also. Xenomorph. Yeah, I was looking at this one the other day. Yeah, this is the best one to look at, the top one here. It does look like Pooh might be breaking back out again. Let's get prepared. Get the right address. It's always better to, instead of type it in, it's always good to use the contract address. I'm actually not buying in yet. I was getting a little hasty there. I needed to push above this, so we're waiting to see what it's going to do there. Yeah, as far as the DLMM, I don't know where he entered at. Obviously, like if you entered way up here, then you would be down in TVL. But this right here, like especially if we got in here, this is a good sign because it's just been ranging like this. And so this would earn like really, really good fees. It's at 2.8 million market cap. So it obviously has dipped down a lot from here. But in general, earning the fees looks pretty strong. So we're also watching Chill Fam start to maybe come back up. This is one that I want to continue to watch as well. And Chill Guy, which looks like it's breaking back up, but we'd want to see Chill Guy continue to break back up before we would be interested. We want to see it come up and down, but have higher highs and higher lows before we're interested in it. Let's see here. MCGA is starting to fight back, so that's good. We'll continue to watch that one. We had put $1,000 in it roughly, and we're continuing to watch Pooh to see if it's going to break above this or if it's going to test off of this. And so if it tests off of this, that means it's going to come back down. Or if it breaks above it, it means it's probably going to keep coming back up. So that's what we're watching for. What's the pro of DLMMing versus trading? I mean, you seem to buy, create your pool on the low of the range to exit on upper range. Would you not profit more by trading, or fees just balance? Yeah, it's a great question, Rico. So this is like a common question, right? This is one of the biggest questions you get. It's like, why would I DLMM if I could just trade, right? And so the kind of in a nutshell answer is that it's less risky. And so what I mean by that is that if you just buy a token, so let's say we bought Pooh here, okay? We saw it coming up right here. It started to dip a little bit, and we said we're going to buy in. So we bought in at 0.029 or roughly 2.9 million market cap, okay? We're holding on to it, and it comes up here, right? So versus DLMMing it. Now, if it comes up here and you decide to sell it here after a very short amount of time, yes, you would make more money if you just traded it over DLMMing it. The thing is that most people when trading don't know when to trade. They don't know when to sell or when to buy. It's hard to know. And so let's say this came up here, but then started to dip back down. Well, you're almost back where you entered at. Many people who trade would just have sold it, right? Or let's say they don't. Let's say they hold on to it and it dips here, comes back up, and they're like, oh, it's doing good again. And then it's coming back down and like, oh no, maybe I need to sell again, right? There's all these times of like, when do I buy? When do I sell? And if you bought here and you continue to hold it, besides it coming back up at this point, most of this time it's right around where you bought it at, or even at lower points, right? Once it's down here, what do? Do you sell? Because now you're down, right? And so with trading, it's hard because you need to be exact about when you get in and when you get out to be able to earn and not lose money. So in the reverse with the DLMMM, just as an example, is that I can get in here and I set up a two-sided pool, meaning that as the token goes up and it comes down, while it's in these ranges, whether I'm earning money off of the overall TVL, so let's say I put $1,000 into it, 500 in the token and 500 in SOL. And so let's say I put $1,000 into it. I don't have to sell while it's up here. Obviously I can, and I'll earn money, but I can continue to watch it as it comes up and down in these ranges. And I can close out this pool at any time around where I entered at and not feel like it was a bad trade to take a little loss or only a little bit of profit or break even, because I've actually been earning money while it's doing this the whole time. And so earning we basically, DLMMing takes advantage of the volatility that always happens with a crypto coin. It takes advantage of it by earning fees the whole time. And then if it does push up, you've been earning a lot of fees the whole way, and the value of the token has now gone up over time. And so you make money on that as well. We are going to buy some Pooh, I mean. It is now broken above the previous high, which means it's going to continue to go up. Now, it may just test off of the all-time high, or it could continue to push above that. So that'll be the next thing that we'll watch for. I'm going to go ahead. I just bought it. I'm going to go ahead and create a pool. Hopefully that answers your question as to what the difference is. And if anybody was curious, this was his question. I have it put up on screen. We're going to do the 250 bin 2%. This is the pool we created a long time ago. It's a pool that I like for the range that we're in. And we're going to create a two-sided pool. And we're going to open it up here and create it. Now, if it ends up pushing up really high, fantastic. And if it continues to range, then that's good as well for us. And so we're just looking to catch it at a time where we're in a general upward trend. And you can see here, because we waited, we were very patient with it coming down, waited, watch it bounced here, waited again. It looked like it might have come back up here. It didn't. But then right here, as soon as it broke out, we said, okay, we're going to buy in. And as soon as we did, then the next area would be to test this next high. So from here to here. But considering the flow of what it's doing here, it's telling me it's most likely going to break above this. Not necessarily that it will, but it most likely will. And so that's where we got in at. I'll now look for it to create a new range. So this is the range it was in, right? I'll now look for it to range here, right? And so not necessarily right here, but I'll watch to see how high is it going to come up, right? On a low cap meme coin like this, it could come all the way up to like here before it starts to range again. So I'm just going to leave this line up here. But what I'll wait for is to see, is it going to range between these previous ones here a little bit higher up, or is it going to continue to go up even more before it's going to range? And so that's what we're looking at now to determine how well it's going to do. But either way, we got in at a really good spot, and now we're watching it push up here, and we're going to earn a lot of fees along the way. So wait for clear breakout at all-time high and then more upside when creating pool. Correct. Yeah. So for instance, just to explain this a little bit better again, I could have bought in down here and I would be more up than where I bought in, which was here. The problem is that if you look back on this chart, whenever it was coming down here and it started to push up, I could have bought in here. But how do I know whether it's going to go up or not? You don't know. And you can see after, if you would have bought here, it would have come back down and then you would have been in a loss. It wouldn't have been that great. Now, if you waited, it would have come back up. But sometimes it's hard to know whether a token is going to keep going down or not. So what I wait for, instead of trying to find the perfect entry to get in at, meaning like waiting for it to just absolutely catch it at the perfect bottom before it bounces back up, is I wait for it to create a strong upward trend of higher highs, higher lows, and then to start to break above previous highs or even all-time highs and then get back in. And again, I don't need this to keep going up. Based on where I got in, I'm creating a new middle entry point for this, and it could come all the way back down to here before coming back up again. And I'm okay with that because I'm DLMMing, and I'm in a very good spot as far as the middle of what will be the new range, if that makes sense. And so we'll continue to watch it. A lot of this downward action is actually just really good for us because we just get to earn fees the whole time. And you can see we're up to 550%. As it comes down, we're earning poofies. And as it goes up, we're earning Solana. Let's see here. Good community. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you, Jared. Can you explain your reasoning for choosing between Radium or Comet? Yeah, so Radium is very plain and basic in its features and what it does. Orca, slightly more advanced than Radium with its concentrated liquidity market maker. It's what I used to use. And then Meteora is just the new updated version of both of those. So it takes everything from the previous kind of technology of liquidity pools and concentrated liquidity market makers like on Orca, and it's more advanced. So this is a dynamic liquidity market maker, DLMMM. And so each of these pools are like little mini LPs. They're very efficient. There's no slippage between them. You also have fees here, which turn into dynamic fees, meaning they go up automatically when there's high volume like right now. So my 2% fee is actually 5.5% because people are willing to pay more. So I end up earning more money because of that. So it's more efficient and it allows for you to make more money during high volume times, which neither of the other ones do. So this is just a more advanced technology. Someone may come out with a better one in the future that we'll use, but this is just the best one that I find to use right now. Poo breakout. Yeah, thanks for the speech. Very clear. Sounds good. Thanks, Rico. Poo at all-time high. Please examine Vector app. So I can't describe the Vector app too descriptively, except that it's a SocialFi trading platform. It doesn't DLMM or anything like that, but it is something that I enjoy doing on the side. I trade meme coins with it. And so basically, it's a SocialFi trading app. That's kind of what I can explain. And so you're able to trade meme coins, but it also has really good charts. It's just accurate, things like that. And so once it's more public, I'll be able to have some keys that I can give out, referral codes, which would be pretty cool because as y'all do really well, it'll help me out as well. And so once we see that in the future, once it becomes available, it's outside of limited beta, then we can talk about it from there. We're up to 330 views total. Thank y'all so much for everybody that's watching. If you do have any more questions, please put them in the comments. We're going to continue to do this just for a little bit longer. I do have to get off soon, but I've been enjoying it, and we've been earning really, really well on Poo as well as a few other coins so far. So MCGA is still kind of chilling. We might end up getting out of this one if it doesn't continue to fight back up. We just bought a little bit, but Poo is ranging nicely. And so you can see here where we got in at. We're earning over 300% on the fees, both in Solana and in the Poo token. You can see here that what happened is that it was ranging here to here, but then once it broke out in an upward trend, we bought in up here. And now what it's doing is it's creating a new trend or a new range in which it's going to move between. Now, I don't know exactly what that range is. It could come as low as here, but will most likely come down to around this area. And it'll now range here until it decides that it's either going to break back down, in which we would sell and get out, probably being in profit, or we'll see it continue to break back up. And so we'll continue to watch this to see. Right now, it's in a very tight sideways pool. We like it to be a little bit wider than this because we'll earn more fees than when it's real tight. But either way, a good sideways motion is good for us when we're DLMMing. You should see the money value of your unclaimed fees, maybe not on Edge yet. Yeah, you can see them right here. These are your unclaimed swap fees, and I can claim them right now if I wanted to, but they're right here. Earning 300% right now, which is awesome. So yellow breaks. I say, or am I not understanding it right? But I don't see you ask any question before that. Would you mind resending your original question? What do the bins mean? Great question, Bomb. So I kind of explained it briefly. I don't want to get too crazy in depth on this, but these individual bins, you can imagine that they're little tiny liquidity pools. Okay, so you can see here, when I mouse over this shows Solana 0.63. So the amount of Solana I have in here is 22.6, and it's split below all the bins below this line. And so you can see here, all of these are 0.632. And basically what happens is as the price of Poo goes down, this 0.63 SOL is in a little liquidity pool and actually buys it up. And then it becomes a new liquidity pool with the Poo token in it. And so as this moves up, I'll have more Solana and less Poo. And as it moves down, I'll have more Poo and less Solana, more of the Poo token. And so I'm just going to call it like POW token maybe because Poo just sounds hilarious. But yeah, so that's the gist as far as like what it is. And so basically what happens is there's no slippage or anything because all these pools are really tiny. So instead of having one big pool, it's broken it up into a bunch of little tiny pools, which allows it to be a little bit more efficient, if that makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question. This is awesome. I could watch this all day. Can you define the high volume crypto hours for a US resident? Hey, Blind, Bind, I really appreciate that, man. I feel like I could do this all day. I'm not able to do it all day, but I do really enjoy doing it. So thank you so much for being here and watching and being a part of this with us. I'm glad that you enjoy it. Define the high volume crypto hours. It really depends on the day. It's somewhere between 9 a.m. EST and 3 p.m. EST. There's usually like 2 hours somewhere in there that's high volume, but I can't tell you exactly when because it's different every single day. So sometimes I'm on here doing other things and I'll just be looking for coins that I want to DLMM. And then if they end up doing well, then I'll end up hopping into them and I'll DLMM them for a while and then I'll get out. But usually at night as well, like after 5 or 6 p.m. EST, usually you'll see the volume start to pick up as people come home. And even at night, you'll see that as well, right? Like 9 or 10 p.m. EST. And so kind of the before and after dinner, like when people get off work and like kind of the later night when people are done with dinner, as well as some of the business hours during the day, you'll normally see a few hours of high volume. So it kind of depends. And so you kind of need to just watch the market to determine when's the best. He meant it shows actual dollar amount next to fees now. I don't know if your meter has it updated or not. It's helpful. I'm on the edge. It's cool that it shows the actual dollar amount. I'm on edge, so let me refresh it and see. Maybe it like just did it. I don't see it. Yeah, I can hard refresh. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, no problem, Mom. Thanks for asking the question, man. Yeah, I don't see it. Apparently, there's an update that I haven't seen yet on Meteora. I just hard refresh, but it shows the dollar amount next to these fees, which is nice because you can actually like see how much it's going up and down, not just Sol or the POW token. Oh, Edge doesn't show it, just app. Huh. Yeah, it's weird because Edge is normally the one that's the most up to date. Yeah, it is pretty neat. It's really, that'll help a lot. Like when I'm doing live streams for people to understand like how much money I'm making or not making. Bomb. Yeah, I chart it so I know which bends to use, but also just to know when to get in and out of a coin, right? Like I don't want to get into a coin that's in a downtrend because I'll lose money. I want to get a coin that's in an uptrend. So that's why I do it that way. That's why I chart it the way that I do. Oh, nice. So look, you can see the dollar amount now. That's really cool. So you can see I've earned $84 in POW token. And I've earned $71 in Sol. And you can see I have roughly 4.5 and a little bit more than that in both of these pools here. And so, yeah, that's really cool. Looks like the POW tokens dropped a little bit, which is fine, or actually a decent amount. And so this is great. We got in right around where it is now, just a little bit above where it is now. So we're a little bit down on the overall, but that's perfectly fine because like we just want it to be in this range, right? And so like I said, it's creating a new higher range than the previous one that could even be as low as this line down here. But like I said, I thought it would most likely be one of these two lines that it would range between. And so we're looking for it to just bounce off of either this line or this line and continue to range here. And if it does break below one of these and we think it's going to keep going down because it's creating a downtrend, then we'll just go ahead and get out before it continues to go further down, or it'll continue to go up, in which we'll enjoy it going up before we get out again. So we'll just keep watching it and determine that. MCGA. This is a coin that's not really moving a whole lot. This one was called in the Discord, but we'll see what happens. We'll keep holding on to it a little longer. It does look like we're seeing POW fight back here. And this is what's nice about DLMMing. Someone had asked me this question earlier. Gavin said, got to run. Thanks so much for the answers. An excellent live stream. Keep it up, please. Gavin, thanks so much, man. I appreciate you being here. Yellow Brick. Yeah, I'm not sure why your question isn't going through. If for some reason there's a word you're using that maybe they find isn't appropriate or something, that could be why. I'm honestly not too sure why it wouldn't be going through. Bomb. Thanks, man. Have a good one. Bond, I had a call I needed to take and missed when you left live. I have a tendency to stay too long. Yeah, you got to get out whenever it's whenever they're moving. With crypto, you really like, unless it's a large market cap coin that you trust, you don't want to just leave tokens up. Like that's why I do what I do with watching it. I wouldn't leave anything that's like low or medium market cap just up for a while you go and do something else. You make a living off this, or you a 9-to-5, sir? No, I'm in Web3 full time. This isn't the only thing that I make money off of. I also do I've done advising and stuff like that in the past. I've worked with project management. I've done game design. I've done a lot of different things in the Web3 space. And so I'm open to doing things like that again. I take those jobs either in chunks or in like small cycles, kind of depending. But kind of my main bread and butter is this. So I've done different forms of liquidity providing or lending or trading and doing other things. But in this season that we're in now, DLMMing is absolutely one of the best. And so that's why I'm doing it. If this changes 6 months from now, then I'll end up doing something else. And so I just want to be where the money is. And I'm full-time Web3, so that's what I do. Yeah, live token dropped a lot. It does look like it's trying to bounce back. And so you could hold if you are down and wait to see if it's going to come back up. And if it doesn't, then you could sell. But I would just keep watching it and see what it does. POW is broken back up beautifully. So again, if you just bought the token, right, and you bought it where we did and you held, you would have to have let it come up, come back down, not know if it's what it's going to do and back up. And you'd be in a small amount of profit. But with DLMMing, we've been earning fees the whole time. Look at this. These fees have doubled since the last time we looked at it. I've now earned $122 in Poo token and $137 in Solana. And you can see the overall value of my pool has also gone up because of it moving up. And you can see it's just a little bit above center right now. But as it pushes up further, if it pushes up further, then we'll look to find a good exit point. Or if it just keeps ranging in here, then we'll be happy to let it just range in here and earn fees the whole way. Because as you can see, if we can earn 280, 290, 300%, and we can do that for more and more hours, that's the more that we'll earn over time, right? Poo team burned through LP tokens, bullish. Oh, that's awesome, man. I didn't realize that. Was Poo launched on, is it a pump fund? Let me see if it shows the token address here. Yeah, it's a pump fund coin. Okay, I wasn't sure. Dale, man, appreciate these daily lives. Super helpful. Yeah, man, I'm really glad. When I started them, I wasn't sure. We started doing these inside of the Fee Printers Discord because Mint, the owner of the Discord and of the project, he was doing them. And then I started doing them because I came in. This was like almost maybe a month and a half or 2 months ago. And we just built, a relationship, and I started to do some live streaming as well when he wasn't. And then honestly, we got to where we were hitting the max amount in Discord. We could only have, I think it's like 50 people maybe in the live at a time. Obviously, we could increase that, I think, through different stuff, but that's how much we were hitting. And so I was like, well, let's just go on Twitter. There's probably more people. Obviously, there's a demand for this, more people that want to learn and want to watch. And so because of that, we just decided to come on Twitter. And so that's what we do now. But we still do them inside the Discord as well. We'll do some small ones here and there. How do you get the money amount on your unclaimed swap fee? So you need to go to app.meteora. I would control F5, which will hard refresh your screen. It's an update that just came up recently. And if you do that, you should be able to see it, but it needs to be on app.meteora.ag, not the edge. These are super helpful. Nika, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I do also have a, I've mentioned this a few times already, but I do also have a meme coin, which you can see I'm DLMMing also. It's called Croak. And again, not encouraging anybody to buy this because it's my coin, but it is one that we enjoy, that we've been working hard on. We have some more cool things to come, going to continue to push out content. It is just a meme coin, but I DLMM this one also. It's kind of at the bottom end of my range here, but it's pushed up a little bit, which is nice. We earn fees on this DLMMing it, but it's a coin that you can check out. If you're interested, great. And if not, no problem. But it is a coin that is mine that I launched that we're really enjoying creating content for and working on a few other things in the background I can't talk about just yet. But yeah, Poo's doing really well. Again, it looks like it's primed to break out. If you look at the trend line here, right? I mean, it looks like as long as it continues on this, it looks like it's primed to continue to break out here and follow this trend upward. And so I'm not sure what it's going to do, but we'll continue to watch it and see. Again, if it continues to range here, that's a good sign for us either way, because we're earning lots of different fees. Let me find it. Do you look at a token social? Oh, wait, sorry. Let me answer another question. I'm learning a lot, man. Thanks for saying. Hey, Jared, thanks for being here, man. Glad you're enjoying it. We are up to 340 total viewers between Twitter and YouTube. Thank y'all so much for being here. Bomb Cly said, do you have to have 50-50 Sol X coin to provide liquidity like in D2? I see there you have 6K Sol. No, you can do any amount. So like, if I go to add a position here, if you do autofill, let's say you do 5 Solana, it'll automatically enter this here, which is actually not 50-50. Because if you come down here, you can see it's negative 57 here and 125% here. And so it's actually not 50-50. If you do the autofill, it's just basing it off of the liquidity and where it's at and trying to balance it between the two for you. And usually I'll just do an autofill. But if you want, you could just manually do it. So 5 Solana right now is worth around $750. And so I could then do the math on how much this would be, which I guess it would be like, it would be, I don't know, maybe 15,000 or 150,000. Yeah, a little bit more than that, maybe 160,000. Anyway, you could do it manually like this, and then it would roughly be 50-50 as well. And so you could do it like that, but you could do one-sided. If you wanted to, you could do just like, you know, a little bit like this, you could set it up however you want. You can mix and match like what you want it to be, if that makes sense. Do you look at a token's socials or go solely based on the chart? So it just kind of depends. Again, depending on who I see calling the coin, who's talking about it and things like that. Sometimes I won't look through socials because people keep me updated. So for instance, on this live stream, we were in POW or POO, wherever you want to call it, and someone was watching it and said that the team burnt the token, so I didn't need to look at it. But normally what I do whenever I first get into it, this is why I like Bird Eye, it's easier for me, but I'll come down and I'll look at it and I'll look at the top 10 holders. And so let me come back to POO, POW, however you call this. And so I'll immediately come down. This is the first thing I do. And I look at top 10 holders, right? And so anything that's above like 20% is normally a red flag, whether it's, oh wait, this isn't the right coin. That's why. Let me just do this is why it's really important to use the CA address, because there's a lot of tokens that could be the same name and you could be buying a token that's not even the right one. So that's something you want to make sure you look for. So when we look at the POO POW token, we're going to open it up on here, and you can find this on Dex Screener as well. It looks like it might break out of this all-time high, by the way, or it already has. It's very close to it. But you come down here, and so you can see the top 10 holders are 15%. And so that's a good sign, especially because Radium owns 3.85%. And so they really own less than 15. But anything that's like above 20 is usually something that's a red flag. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's just something that you want to be cautious of. What you would then do is you could go look at the socials. And sometimes there's a high holder count on the top 10 because the team has like locked up a large supply, which is what we've done on our token at Croak. And so sometimes it'll look a little higher. But you just want to, it's a flag that makes you want to investigate it. And so in this instance, we don't have to worry about that because this token has a good top 10 holder count. You can then come to the socials. You can see how many people are following it. You can see how active it is, right? So like how many likes and retweets. This is getting a decent amount of interactions, which is a good sign that there's a lot of people looking at this right now. Another thing I like to do is come up into the search bar, and you can actually just type in the money sign and then POU. And then you can actually go to latest here, and you can say, okay, how many people are interacting with this right now, right? And you can look and see how recently they were interacting with it, how often people are talking about it, like 7 seconds ago, 10 seconds ago, 13 seconds ago. And so there's actively, even within a few minutes, there's tons and tons of people talking about this coin. And so that's a good sign that the token has a lot of interest, a lot of holders, and it's continuing to do well. And so that's something that I like to look at as well. Now, I don't always go through all of this. Sometimes I just kind of trust some of the people who talk about it. And so I'll just look at the chart. But that is one of the things that you can do. Croak to the moon. Yes, absolutely, XR Priest. So third pump is coming to POO. Should I buy now token and put in DLMM? Let's see, you asked that 3 minutes ago. Let me look on my Vector app to see exactly where it is. You want to wait for a dip. And so it is starting to dip a little bit. So it could be close to a good time. Let's see here. So what I would wait for, if I were you, is I'd wait for it to come down. It doesn't necessarily have to bounce off this line, but I'd wait for it to come down a little bit and then start to bounce and then get in. Now it could start to bounce here. So if you like, your risk tolerance is a little higher, you could get in at this range, knowing that it's going to come down some, but you definitely don't want to wait to get in. If this starts to pump up too much here, it might be too late because it's going to be testing off its all-time high again. And so if you get in here, just know it could go down first before coming back up. And if it does end up continually going down from you buying here, I would just close it out and take the loss. So that's something to look for. Don't hold on to it forever. But I'd say it's a little higher than I'd want. But honestly, with the way that it's going, you may not get a lower entry. So it's hard to know. It's up to you to make that decision, though. It's crazy how much less anxiety you have when you get a good entry from the start. 100%. So I mean, that's the key. Getting a good entry is the number one thing. If you get into it and you get in on the higher end of it, and then it's down below at the bottom of your range and it's ranging, you're uncomfortable the whole time because it's you basically, as you enter, it's now worth less. Even whenever it's at the top of its range, it's still only worth what it's equal to. Whereas if you get in on the way up at a good entry point, then you're either at the middle where for half the time it's worth more and half the time it's worth less, which is much less stressful. Or you catch it going way up and then you catch it to where the whole time it's ranging, it's at the top end of your range, which is really nice. And so I agree. Getting a good entry is really important. It looks like there's a 0.05 SOL fee to open a position. Do you get that back? So when you open a position, there's a tiny, tiny fee that you don't get back. And then the 0.05 SOL you get back when you close it. Now, if you're talking about creating a pool where you would actually go to the main page and create it, this actually costs money as well when you create it. And this you do not get back because you don't, this whole pool it never closes. Now, if you're just talking about your specific position, yes, you do get that back. How do you know how much X coin and SOL to put then if you don't have to do 50-50? It's up to you. So like, it depends on what you want to do. So like if I come in here to add a new position on this and you're like, okay, how much do I want to put in? I'd like there to be an equal amount, right? So like if I'm putting in this POO token here, I like there to be an equal amount. So which is why I autofill, because when it autofills, the reason why it's doing more on the upside than on the downside is that if you look at the liquidity, there's more liquidity here on the downside than on the upside, right? And so that's why it's doing it. It's actually balancing it out based on other people's liquidity. And so I like to do it based on that. But if you're not going to, then you can just manually make it 50-50. And so the reason you would do that is that you just want, what am I doing here? This is tripping me out. Okay, there we go. You can see it does a bunch of different things, but ultimately you can just arrange it how you want. And that's really just determining on what you think. So if you think the token's going to go up more, maybe you want more on the higher side, you'd put more token in than you would SOL, or vice versa. If you think it's going to go down more, maybe you put more on the SOL side. So it's really just up to you. If that makes sense. 32 SOL buys going through on POO. Yeah, big buys. I agree. There's also some sells. POO is dropping a little bit right now, which again is perfectly fine. I expect it to kind of come down a little bit further. Again, if you haven't gotten in, waiting for it to come down here and bouncing back up would be a good time to do that. Let's see. I'm not sure if chat messages are a bit delayed. This message is being sent at 5 minutes before the hour, but Chill Guy is testing the 280 million support. Thanks for letting us know. Let's take a look. Oh, it's dipping a lot. Yeah. We're going to get out of that MCGA token. It's not doing well. Again, we only bought a tiny bit for a reason because we weren't sure how well it'd do. It's a little bit of a risk. That's why you always want to be careful on low cap coins. Make sure the swap goes through. Taco Tank, welcome. Thanks for being here. Taco Tank says, what's the benefit of creating a pool versus just opening? So I explained this a little bit earlier, but you don't get any sort of like personal benefit from it where like you get anything like extra. The main benefit about opening a pool creating a pool versus using an open position is that whenever you create the pool, you get to determine the fees and the bin step on it, right? The range. And so basically the only time that I create a pool is when I look at Meteora and I would determine, so like, let's go here to the pools. Usually newer tokens don't have as many. So if someone hasn't created one, you have to create one. And for instance, here, there's only 3. There's a 100 bin, 2%. There's a 125, 5%. And there's a 250, 2%. Let's say that I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, I like the 2% fee, but the 100 bin seems a little too tight and the 250 seems too wide. I want a 200 bin step pool that's 2%. I feel like that's going to perform better for what I want. Then you could just create a pool, do 200 bin, 2%. So the benefit would just be that you get to do it in the range that you want at the fee that you want if there's not one there that is doing that already, if that makes sense. Yeah, so Chill Guy is in a pretty strong downtrend right now. Obviously, it came and bounced back up here. And then, like I said earlier, like you want a coin bounces like this after taking a big dip, you want it to show higher highs and higher lows and then continue to do that. You want to see at least 2 or 3 higher highs and 2 or 3 higher lows. And you can see here, it did not do that. It bounced, but then it went even lower than before. So it's actually showing it's in continuing that downward trend. So we would need it to continue to see it have higher highs and higher lows and break above this previous high, as well as continue to push up even into these ranges before we'd want to get back into Chill Guys. So something to look for for sure. Xeno is one that's looking decent. It is in a lower part of the range and the volume isn't crazy high. If you had gotten in down here, though, it's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and click off of it because it's not one that I'm interested in right now, as well as Chill Guy, because I think it's going to be a while before Chill Guy comes back up. You can see that as of right now, it does look like Poo is doing what we thought it would do. We obviously drew this line earlier based off of this support, and you can see it bounced right off of the support and is coming back up. We'll see if it continues to come back up or if it's going to come back down. We'll watch it and determine what we want to do from there. If it does break down below this some more and it looks like it's going to keep going lower, then we might close out the pool, take advantage of the fees we've earned and the good entry and just take a small win. Or we will see if it continues in this area before breaking back up. Then we'll look to exit out. We'll look for it to either break off the support here and start to come back down, in which we'll sell here because we'll be at a good high end of our range and take advantage of all the fees and being up in TVL, or it will look for it to break out above this. You can see it resisted off of it twice, but if it does break above this, then we'll wait and see how far up it's going to go. And then once it starts to resist after it's come up above this, then we'll look to sell at even a higher point. And that's the ideal situation. After it's come up, it ranges and then eventually breaks up even higher and then we sell. That's like the best case scenario because then we make a lot of money off of fees and we make a lot of money off the TVL increasing. So we're going to continue to watch that. Is it risky to start a new pool because there's super low liquidity? It can be. Well, one thing you want to look for whenever you have a new pool is that the Jupiter price and the price of the pool itself are both equivalent. So that is something to look for. Our bully pool is still doing pretty good. We're going to come look at our poo pool though, see how it's doing. It's still doing over 200% on the 24 hours. So that's really good. You can see it's pretty close to even for us because it did start to break back up. We did get in around right here, and so it's about even. Where we created the pool and where we actually bought at are like slightly different, but I would say this is about even here. And so we're good as long as it keeps breaking off of this. Even if it comes back down and back up, we'll keep earning fees the whole time, and then we'll look for it to break below again to be able to get out of that. So yes, it is risky to start a new pool, Will. With super low liquidity and stuff. Mainly, it's risky on low market cap coins. Usually coins that have a decent market cap are going to have pools already with liquidity in them. So that's something to look for there. We are up to over 350 people total watching. Again, thank y'all so much. We have 334 on X and 23 on YouTube. My YouTube has grown a good bit. It's starting to grow. This is the most people we've had watching on YouTube. So thank y'all again for watching, subscribing, following, all that kind of good stuff. And so I am actually going to hop off. I appreciate all the questions that you've had. I appreciate y'all taking your time out of your day to watch. I've actually been on for 2 hours now, which is about 30 minutes to an hour longer than I expected. I'm going to keep holding poo here and watching it. And again, I would say, again, if it breaks below here, then I would get out of it. But we'll keep watching it to see what it's going to do before we close out of this pool. So thank y'all again. Please, if you have any questions in the future, bring them to the next live stream. I will actually be going out of town tomorrow. And so I'll be online posting on Twitter and stuff like that every now and then, but I won't be doing any sort of live streams. And so next week will be a little bit of a down week for me, but just be prepared after Thanksgiving, after I come back to be able to jump back on these, because I plan to do a lot more of these continually all the way up to Christmas. And then even after Christmas as well. The market's doing really well. This is a great time to do this, a great time to grow your portfolio. While the volume is very, very high, while we're in this bull market, while meme coins are doing really well. So thank y'all again. And yeah, I'll see y'all around next time. Y'all have a great day and a great weekend.